last week was a pretty bad week, man. I ended up blowing my funded account that was up. That's a total of like $3,500, $3,600. I had officially gotten two payouts from that Top Step 50K funded account back in December. Started off the new year with a 2K buffer on Sunday market open, made $1,700 off of gold and the Venezuelan war tensions, and then proceeded to blow all of it on Monday morning market open by over trading and just being an overall degenerate. And essentially, now I'm back to square one because I blew most of my profits basically chasing a funded account status. I basically blew a bunch of evals this week. And once Friday hit, today's Sunday, by the way, once Friday hit, I had some time to finally reflect upon the week to see what went wrong. And here are two things that I noticed about my personal failures in this last week. Number one was, of course, I got too high off the highs. I got my two payouts after not receiving any payouts from any prop firms within all of 2025. So basically the last time I ever got a payout was in 2024. And that was like basically my first ever payout. And that was with Funding Pips, a Forex prop firm. Again, 2024, I think around August, I got about like $5,000. And I've been trading for about 5 years. So I've been pretty unprofitable. So in the last month of 2025, I got my two payouts and I got high off those highs. I got way too high off the highs and essentially started January off thinking that I was the man and ended up blowing my shit. And I wasn't able to put a stop loss on my psychology. That's basically how I'm going to view this, is essentially I knew things I needed to take a break, but I refused to take a break. I ended up trading outside of my trading plan. For example, trading Asian session is a big no-no for me because historically speaking, I just never do too well. Listen, I'll win a couple of trades in Asian session, but for the most part, it's been pretty much an L for the last 5 years. So I have opted to take that out of my trading plan. But tell me why during this entire like of me kind of like being degenerate and blowing all these evals, I basically ended up blowing all my evals during Asian session, which is so stupid when I look back at it. But essentially, you must look back at these things, right? We must learn from these things in order to move forward. Because at the end of the day, like I could look at this failure and think, damn, like obviously I got high off the highs and I got low off the lows. And I could think to myself, like it's time to give up. Like, bro, this really isn't for me, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think like that. I'm thinking, bro, how can I pick myself up? How can I make myself even better so that when I come back the next time around, that I'm not gonna make this mistake? And yes, it also helps that I was able to get a couple of payouts because it has kind of like proven to myself that I have seen some sort of success. So it's not completely an L, but at the end of the day, like when you make payouts and then you blow through most of those profits chasing evals, obviously that's also another. It's a big hit to your ego, is essentially what I'm saying. But nonetheless, I'm not gonna let it deter me. I was pretty sad for a little bit, but at the end of the day, I hopped in this trading game for a reason. And the reason for this is that I see the grand vision. I know why I hopped in this game, and that is so that I could get location freedom, time freedom, money freedom, and basically have the ability to do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want to, without having to listen to anybody else, anybody else or their opinion. And I'm not gonna stop until until I reach that goal. And it's crazy to say, it sounds like I'm fucking delusional, but sometimes you gotta be a little delusional. And really, the flip side to this, if I don't achieve this goal, my worst case scenario is quite literally going to be I have to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, which is basically a lot of people's best case scenario. So when I look at the facts of the matter, I realize, listen, I ain't really too far off, right? I'm willing to take the risk right now. I'm willing to bet it all on myself. That's something that I encourage all of you guys to do because at the end of the day, this is one big system that we are stuck in. And unless you make the necessary moves or the correct moves to pivot yourself out of this system, or to at least be comfortable enough to, you know, reside within the system, but at the same time still have a little bit of freedom for yourself and your loved ones, then you'll be all right, in my opinion. But again, listen, you don't have to agree with my opinion. You can live your life the way you want to, but this is essentially how I look at things. Number two, of the reasons why I blew my funded account was basically I started to care way too much of what other people thought of me. And what do I mean by this? Essentially, I started posting trading content, fitness content, and just basically like mindset content as well on all platforms. So I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, even on Snapchat, I'll post a bunch of stories as well. And really, what this has done for me, because I used to be like a shy guy, not really a shy guy, but I was like I guess you could say I was an introverted extrovert. So I really do enjoy my own personal space, and I still do to this day. But at the same time, if you put me in an extroverted, if you put me in a situation where I need to speak to someone or just socialize in general, I most definitely I'm able to do so, but I prefer not to. That's just how it's been for most of my life. And so putting myself out on social media is definitely a big shift for me because it's basically putting myself out of my comfort zone. But I think it's a good thing for me, and I think it's a good thing for everyone to get out of their comfort zone because, listen, you only have one life. You might as well take the risk. At the end of the day, people that are going to talk shit are people that don't have anything going on in their life anyway. That's really the facts of the matter, bro. I never seen someone that has their shit together talk shit about somebody else. It's just never the case. It's always the people that don't like where they're at in life that have something negative to say about other people, that are just trying to take a risk and do something positive for themselves, right? Trying to make that positive change for themselves. So don't let people's opinions deter you from doing what is right for you or what you believe or chasing your goals or anything like that. You guys get the point. Anyway, ever since I started posting on social media, it has added a level of pressure to my trading, game, I guess you could say, like my trading journey in general. So with that being said, like I would post a story every single day of my trades. And what I realized is like I went on a 12 winning streak while I got my two payouts. And then once I finally, took a loss, in my head I was like, oh no, I'm gonna take a loss, and people, I can't show people that I took a loss, so I need to like, I started to get like stupid thoughts of what people might think of me because. Of course, when you're winning, everyone starts to reach out to you like, "Oh, bro, put me on, like, do this, do that, like, yo, like, how do you do this? How do you do that?" I'm like, and you kind of get an inflated sense of ego, or this is at least how I felt because again, I went from no social media to social media, and what was I saying? I don't even know what the fuck I was saying. Okay, I was saying, oh yeah, so once I started posting on social media, I started getting a little bit of an inflated ego while I was on a win streak. And once that win streak had ended, I basically couldn't come to terms with that. And I ended up making decisions that were heavily influenced on what I thought people would think of this failure or whatever the case may be, which basically I ended up psyching my own self out because what you have to realize is social media is basically it's fake. It's fake. It's a lot of people are just posting fucking highlights and like I guess like what's like scripted content. Really, it's all a bunch of it is scripted content. People go through like the most to make sure that things look a certain way, and you get a certain emotion from looking at the content. Which again, it is a game in and of itself. I'm just saying like you shouldn't allow that to skew with your own personal mindset, especially when it comes to trading. Again, I'm speaking to myself when I say this is because I realize like I guess even like, a little bit of context is like I am South Asian, so it's very customary for South Asians or probably any immigrant family household to constantly compare your kid to other kids that are within the community or maybe your family members, your friends, neighbors, whatever the case may be. So I grew up with this mentality ingrained that I had to constantly compare myself to others, and that's kind of how you get a sense of self-worth, which in this case is very negative when it comes to your trading journey. So all in all, I allowed, I guess like this new territory of me posting my content or just basically documenting my journey. I allowed it to get the better of me without really thinking about the fact that a lot of people that watch me on, for example, Instagram, there's a lot of people that I know from my community, from high school, from people that I just met in general in person. And a lot of those people don't even trade. So like when I think about it, I'm like, yo, why do I even care what they think, right? Like now, obviously, looking back in hindsight, I can definitely tell myself like this was very stupid for me to allow myself to basically fuck up my trading based on the opinion of people that don't even trade. Does that even make any sense? Like it doesn't, and that this is something, again, is a personal pitfall, I suppose. I wonder if you guys face anything similar to this yourselves. Maybe, you know, the opinions of others also affect you guys. If it does, please let me know in the comments below. But these are the two reasons that took me from funded status back into eval jail and basically messed up my progress. But nonetheless, it's all part of the game, guys. This is a minor setback for a major comeback. That's how I want you guys to look at life. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, how many times can you pick yourself back up. That is the game, brother. And you gotta love the game. If you don't, bro, go get a fucking 9 to 5. Just live a normal life. But if you want something more from life, listen, you better be prepared to take an L, bro. It's a part of the game. And you better charge it to the game, bro. Because L's come with the game, but so do W's. And if you stack enough L's and you learn from all those L's, eventually you're gonna flip those into some W's and you're gonna be laughing at the end of the day. And then they're gonna ask you, yo, how did you get like this, bro? How did you, like, how did this happen? Because you was just a fucking loser, but now you're a winner. Listen, it's just a little motivation I want to put out there for you guys. At the end of the day, anybody that's watching this video, I know that you guys will make it. Why? Because you guys made it all the way to the end of this video. And that means you guys are looking to actually improve on your trading journey. But nonetheless, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in for today. Next week is going to be a better week. I'm still going to be documenting my journey as well. Remember, I have a set of 4 evals, which are 50% passed. I am going to take it very slow because I don't want to put a unnecessary time constraint on my trading journey. I'm going to just follow the process and stick to what I know has gotten me this far and has actually made me see some sort of success. Nonetheless, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Peace out.